says you're live already. Ah, okay, yeah. Virtual. Stop. Okay. It says it's doing that. So now can I set my webcam somehow? Video. How do I configure my video? OBS camera. Just video. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But then how do I start sending video? Oh, there we go. There we go. So that's my video, and it's turned around, horizontal flip. Okay, can you see my camera? Yeah, okay, is that gonna work? So then we also want to do, oh, we're already doing voice through Discord, so that's fixed too. Okay. Cool. Okay. So now I need to touch something. You always, it's going to explode otherwise. So. Okay, I tried to put myself on the other side of the screen. Let me see if that works. Horizontal flip. Yeah, okay, yeah. So then you can put me a little bit in the corner and yeah. Can you still hear me? Okay, good. Awesome. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, we got everything playing right off the bat here. Drum roll, everybody. All right. Happy, what is today? Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. How's it going? Oh, that's a different board you got there.
Oh, this is a Quindor Deca. I just added for focusing the camera. So.
Oh, I got it. Okay. Sweet. So here we are. We got Quindor from Intermit Tech. He's the mastermind behind a variety of LED booster boards. That's what I'm gonna call them, booster boards.
That's fine. Yeah, that's yeah. I get that.
Reasonably accurate?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay. And I've been collecting parts to build my own now for a while, or to build, follow your plan and build them.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally got all the parts. Well, we discussed that last night. I don't actually have all the parts.
You have all the parts, just not the absolute correct ones.
Oh, that's good. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I've got the parts, just not all the right parts. So how's everybody doing? Let's see who we got here. We got Mark, we got Will, Jason, Dig. Oh, somebody wants a Quindor Hexa.
Yeah. I'm currently working on another board, and I'm working on getting the QuindLED Dig Unos pre-assembled for sale. And after that, I think I'm going to work on the Hexa. I'm not sure yet. But, yeah.
Awesome. Now, are you changing the design at all for the for sale version?
No.
Or is it just like this?
Just like this. Well, some very minor thingy with a footprint, but optically and functionality wise, 100% the same.
All right. Okay, I am just going to move my webcam down out of the way here a little bit because it's blocking everything.
Yeah, we're having to juggle some screens here.
Yes, we did some screen juggling magic off camera for a few minutes. Things worked out decently well.
Yeah.
Okay, I did see Jamie said that there was a Lights Around the World, something, X Lights Around the World was released. So I'm guessing that's a video that they do to highlight people who have used X Lights for their stuff, for their shows. It says, did anybody here make it into the video? That would be cool. Did anyone here make it into the video? I'd love to hear it and see it. It sure has been. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have near enough holiday lights, so not me.
Not me. Not me either. But it sure has been fun for me to get feedback from guys who have done something amazing. And even if it's not like over the top, Matt Johnson level stuff, it's just really cool to see that people said, hey, you know what? I can do this. I can grab some LEDs and a D1 Mini or whatever, and I can make some really cool stuff. And they have in just a couple of months. It's been really awesome.
Yeah, I think wLED reinvigorated the adjustable LED race.
Yeah, certainly did for me.
Yeah,
certainly did.
Made it a lot. It was working with ESP Home, but there was only a few effects, and it was hard to configure. And wLED just makes it really awesome.
Yep, for sure. All right, here we go. Father Time is in the video. You're in the video. The X Lights Around the World. Wow, nice. Oh, pants. 3/8's got to go. See you later, buddy. Hey, Ram Disc. How's it going? Okay. I only have, that was short. That's okay. I only have 300 lights with X Lights. 1 roof line, 2 trees, 10 songs, 30-minute show. I've had a ton of people stop and watch. I also have an FM transmitter. That is pretty good.
That's a good way to start, and then it becomes worse.
So, this is my pile of parts. I was actually playing around and sticking some of these through here. So, let me go through, or Quindor, you can help us. You can point us through all this and explain some things. If you
go back on the webpage and go to the soldering guide, it actually has pictures per step you need to do.
Let's see, soldering guide.
And then first is the video where I basically show you how to do it, and then below that is now go to the main
picture. Here's the picture of all the parts.
Now go to the main page of QuinLED.info. And then there's a QuinLED Dig Uno soldering guide.
Right there.
And then below the video, there is...
oh, look at that. Okay. There it is.
So that basically tells you all the steps and which to do first and later and stuff like that.
Okay. So you start with these little ones, huh?
Yes. So first we get the hard stuff out of the way.
The
idea was we're going to do this together, but we're in on different continents. But
let's do it.
So let's see how this is going to work.
I gotta fire up a couple things here. Hold on.
Yeah. Let's see, resistors. Capacitors. Let me get my own page out, otherwise I forget my order too. There we go. Yeah. I guess DrZzs ran off and now I've taken over his stream. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, let's solder a board, or 2 boards today then, I guess. And hopefully we get it working at the end of the stream. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
He's back.
I'm back. I was just grabbing some parts. I got some new toys.
Oh.
And I should have probably assembled this somewhat already, but it's not that big a deal.
I've got the time. As long as we have viewers, we can do it.
I got a smaller version of the helping hands. So I have a big helping hands.
Oh, okay.
But I got a smaller one here, and I love these things. You must have something like this.
I actually never use them. I don't know. I'm
really?
I'm freehand soldering. I don't know.
Oh man, you're a wild cowboy. All right. There goes all that. I'm gonna throw some of these things
What
in
are you building?
here.
So my
Oh,
view
the other
is
thing I need
off
is
on
some
the side
tweezers.
where I can watch the stream. So that's why I keep watching to the left.
You're watching and going, what is that guy doing? I really should have assembled this already.
That's okay.
This will take a minute. Christmas presents for myself.
Yeah, it's like when you order stuff in China, you never know when it's going to arrive. So it's like when something does arrive, it's like, oh, presents. And you paid
Happy
for them like
birthday,
2
me.
months ago, but you don't remember that anymore.
Yep. That was the biggest. That was my what upset me most last night when I realized I had the wrong logic level shifters. Was
Yeah.
thinking, dang it, now it's going to be like 2 months
Oh
before
well,
I
no,
get
you
it
can
back.
order that part easily in somewhere, Digikey or Mouser or whatever, and you'll have it in a few days. But
Okay. I smell my soldering iron. I had it cranked up to 400. I don't know why.
I usually solder at like 360 or something like that.
Okay. Okay.
I'm really interested in this contraption you're building.
Let me zoom out. You can see it. It's like Doc Ock.
Yeah, well, we're running some kind of audio, video, OBS through IP camera feed, weird ass setup. So if my audio is out of sync with all kinds of other stuff, sorry about that. Because this camera, which I'm pointing at right now, that's actually an IP camera, and this camera is being captured using HDMI, and then I have a USB microphone. And when I do the streaming myself, it's already a hard thing to get it kind of like synced up. But now we're also piping it through Video for Windows to make it a webcam output of OBS, and then running it through Discord. So I don't know what's
Just that
going on.
explanation makes me laugh.
We have
man.
sound and like multiple cameras and pictures, and I'm in Europe, and DrZzs is in America, and I don't whatever. It works, kind of.
So one thing I'm actually going to do here is I am going to swap out some of these. So I'm looking at these helping hand arms. And these are all really long for this board.
Oh, yeah.
This board is really small.
Yeah.
So I'm going to swap out a couple of these for other ones that I have for my bigger one that are shorter. That might be a little better. All right. And then, of course, I don't even know if I'm going to use these arms right off the bat. I'm probably not.
Yeah, I just have
these are
these
going to lay flat.
These fleshy looking things.
Those fleshy looking things. And I got a pair of tweezers here with a light on them.
Yes, tweezers you will need. You will need. Right off the bat, we're starting with those.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
And okay. Here we go. All right.
Oh wow, those look nice. Okay.
Those are pretty nice. Those are pretty nice. I think that was my mom gave those to the kids for getting slivers out of their fingers or something.
Ah, cool.
Okay, so here we go. This is our board.
Yeah.
Right. Let me get even closer here with this thing. Okay. Now, you've got the other side up.
Yeah, so we're starting at the back because these are SMD components. So often they go in the back or the front, but in this case, they only go in the back. Okay. And through a hole you put in on the front and then solder on the back. But we'll get to that. So the first, if I look at my own guide, are some capacitors. Oh, wait a minute. I just activated my own video. I don't want to do that. So if I look at my own guide, we have two 0.1 UF or 100 nanofarad capacitors and one 10 picofarad capacitor, and then another 0.1. So we need 3 of 0.1 and 1 of 10.
I need
So-
some serious magnification.
Oh no.
Here it is. Okay.
Well, I'll show you how to do it, and then it'll be easy. Trust me.
Okay. I can't even see the capacitors.
Oh, well, okay. At some point, it's going to be an issue then. But yeah, there was no way to get these through hole and make the board
through hole
function.
versions of these.
Yeah, because a through hole wall goes through the board, and because of that, it interrupts the power planes and all kinds of other stuff. So, kind of had to do it this way. Can't I get these out?
Okay.
Those little tapes are always a bother.
I went through last night and pulled all these. You know, I got them out because I ended up having. When you buy these, thank you, Ron. I like it too. When you buy these, you gotta buy them like by the truckload.
Yeah.
So to get these are the resistors. Yeah, these are the resistors, and this is just one of like 5 bags of these. That
Okay. Well, as long as they're labeled, you're okay.
They are labeled, but you know, they're like handwritten labels. So like some poor
yeah.
dude in China just had to handwrite, you know, 4.K or whatever on there.
Yeah.
And then
So
these,
we're starting with the capacitors.
those
So
are diodes.
I just assorted mine. We only need one of these.
So the capacitors are which?
I can try and show you on my camera. Yeah, those 2 silver lines with a beige line in the middle, basically.
Okay, and I've got one that's one size, and then 4 that are the other size.
4. Oh,
yes,
yeah,
4 of the 0.1 micro and 1 of the 10 micros. Okay, so here's my 10 micro, and here is my 0.4. Get a sample book. You know what? Here's a sample book too. And that's where I got the capacitors. This is a sample book of capacitors.
Yeah.
And they are labeled much better.
Yeah,
the sample book
that's
of
easier.
capacitors. They actually have a lot better labeling on them than this. And then the diodes are another issue. I mean, they're not an issue. It's just it's another package that, you know, looks like this, and you got to just really zoom in. I did discover something really cool since we're doing this video inception thing, which seems to be more and more common for us.
Yeah. Oh, you're even adding stuff.
Yes, I'm going to add my phone here because I figured out that you can use your phone to magnify things really well. And it's actually quite useful. So if I triple click on this, it opens this thing up as a magnifier, and I can turn a light on if I want it. But let's see if I can find them. Let's see, zoom out a little bit. There they are. Now if I zoom in here, eventually it'll focus in.
Yeah, it's trying to.
Turn the light
maybe a little bit up.
It's trying. The problem is I got to hold my hand still.
Yeah, this only works off camera.
Yeah. That's funny how bad that is, but it will eventually focus, and then you can actually read the numbers. That's how I did it last night. Yep.
Yeah, but but there's no numbers on the capacitors, I think. Only on the resistors. There we go.
Getting better.
Yeah, but those are capacitors. That's right.
Those are the capacitors.
Yes.
Look how dirty my finger is.
Oh.
Okay. Those are the capacitors.
Yes.
Sweet. Okay.
So let me demonstrate how I do that on my board. So I look in the guide and I go like, okay, I need those pads, and then basically what I do is I put my soldering iron on one of the pads, and I just this is a new tip I just put on, but I just add some solder to one of the pads.
Okay.
Let's see, I need that one.
Just a dab.
Yeah, just so there's a little tiny dab on there. If your soldering iron has enough already, it. Oh, another in screen. There we go. Oh, you got the gold finish. Nice.
Okay. Yeah, these are PCB way commercial.
Yeah. Well,
PCB way.
I updated my website last week, and I made all my designs available from Dirty PCB and now also PCB way. So
Awesome. Okay, now let me make sure I'm getting the right spot. So underneath these dots here, you've got
so in my
6
case,
points there.
yeah,
And
I
I'm
did.
going to put solder there, and there.
Yes.
That's what I see on your guide up there. All right. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
just one pad at a time.
One pad at a time? Okay.
Yeah, because then once we have one pad done, we take the component and our soldering iron, and we basically melt the solder again, stick in the component, and then lift off the soldering iron, and it's stuck in there.
My tip doesn't want to release the solder.
I might need to get some on there.
There it goes. Okay.
Let me try something.
All right. So there we go. I got solder on one pad.
Well, I did all the pads to start with.
Okay. So one of each one. I see what you got there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to make it even bigger because it's a bit small. There. Well, I can go even bigger.
There we go. And then these. Okay, I'm going to turn up my temperature a little bit here. And then one of those. This is good. This is fun. This makes me feel like a real scientist or something.
Well, with those glasses, for sure.
Come on.
Oh, you have a really small tip there, I think. Yeah. That's okay.
Doesn't want to come off.
Is there flux in your solder?
I don't know. Might be.
There should be.
It says fine solder wire flux, yeah.
Okay.
1.8%.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So basically the way to get the best solder joint is to heat up the pad, and then at the joint with the with the joint with the soldering iron and the pad, you basically will feed in the solder.
I don't know why it's not melting. It's like my tip's not getting hot. My soldering iron's off. Hey Google, turn on the soldering iron. Yeah, it helps if the light on the soldering iron is on.
Yes, most definitely.
Well, yeah, no problem.
More temperature. Well, yes, the problem was the temperature, but
yes, it was.
Soldering iron turns off,
Oh man, it's probably gonna take a second for this.
That's okay. Yeah, this is gonna. They were saying it's gonna take 2 hours for a board. I don't think they're wrong. This might take about 2 hours. Yeah.
At this speed, it might.
That's okay. Who's MQTTing the soldering iron? That's a nice.
Yeah, one. somebody downstairs said turn off the soldering iron, and so they did.
Oh, really? One of your kids?
No, I don't know. It happens a lot. They'll just say turn off the lights, and they don't specify, and so the freaking light goes
Alexa's
off.
like, okay, turning everything off.
Yeah, turning off everything. Okay, there we go. I got solder there. So we got 5 spots.
So let me
Okay.
try and demonstrate. So basically what I do is I take my soldering iron in one hand, and then I take a 0.1, and I basically put the tip against the pad we just did, and then I gently just put the component there. Oh, damn it, I have to hold it. And that should be it. So
Okay.
let me do that again.
And the
So
0.1s are the ones that I have 4 of. So that's one of these guys.
yeah. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay.
And there's no top or bottom to this. There's no right or
No,
left.
these have no polarity.
No polarity. Okay. And they're just square. There's not a... Oh, I did this other side, so I'm going to just spin this around. Make it easier for my right hand, left hand.
Yeah, just spin the board to make it easier. You have
Okay.
soldering iron in one hand, and yeah.
Yeah, get back here.
Yes, paste on a hot air gun is much easier. That's true. But I did my my soldering guide with a normal iron, and if I do them myself, I use a hot air gun. But most people don't have one yet, although they're about $30 nowadays. So
I have a hot air gun, but
okay. Well,
it
then
would
we could
probably
have.
melt. Like it's big. It would probably
Oh
melt
no, no, no!
everything.
You need a special one, like with a tip like this, for instance.
I think it's stuck on there, but you know, the enemy of
Well, if it's
enough
only
is
barely
better.
stuck, that's fine. That's fine because we're
Okay,
gonna
it is barely stuck.
tip it on later anyway. So
Yep, it is barely stuck. I'm still going for higher temp though. Got to get this thing melting a little bit easier. Okay, so I got that side on that one.
okay, so okay, yeah, do them all.
Do them all. Did you just do 4 of them while I was messing around with that one?
Maybe.
Okay.
I was demonstrating. So I had a head start.
That's okay, because while I'm doing this, you're in charge of chat.
Oh, okay. DrZzs, watch Quinn holding style of the components. Okay, they're giving you tips. Always check your solder and iron by touching
Woo.
solder to it. Yep.
To touch it on your tongue, right? Is that how
Yeah,
you
yeah,
test
yeah. That's what they're saying. Yes.
Thanks, guys. Okay.
Sure.
Uh,
Let's see what else
and
they're
then we
saying.
got
Get
one
a bigger
here.
tip. Yeah, your tip is actually maybe a little bit too fine because I have a wedge shape tip. That's what I like best. And that's you have a little flat edge on the tip to make some of the stuff easier. But let's see.
These are also magnetic tweezers.
Okay. I'm not sure that's beneficial though.
No, it's not. I think it's worse because it
But just yeah, put it in there and then remove the soldering iron once it's on there. And then you can then let go of the tweezers.
Except I can't. Okay.
Don't worry, we're almost done with the
We're
small
gonna get
parts.
there.
Yeah, there's
so
only a
much
few
easier.
of these, so.
Oh, that is ugly. But I think it's done.
Yeah, as long as they're just a little bit stuck, we can fix it later.
Okay. And then where does the 4th one go? 4th one goes on this spot right here, right? And then this spot in the upper right is the 10.
Upper right is the 10, yes.
Oh, shiz. I just dropped it.
Someone's saying clean the tip, but in quotes. This is why the doc doesn't do surgery, just the sleeping part.
This is right. This is totally right. So I did just drop that 1 microfarad.
Oh, don't worry. You've got 100 more.
I do, but now I'm going to have to find them. Okay, that was okay. That came out of the book, so the book is easier. All right, this is a 0.1 micro, right?
For the bottom right, yes. or 100 picofarad, or 0.1 no, nano pico.
100 pico. Okay, 100 pico. 100 pico. Right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
100 pico. Okay.
So PF, yes.
Okay.
I actually don't have a wet sponge run. I use yeah, it's some metal balled up, and I basically brush the iron through it. I don't like those hot sponges.
I have mine is that kind of metal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see if I can
Stuff
get
as
mine
well.
under the camera. I think so. There
Oh
we go.
my goodness.
So I have a
Yeah,
little
I am so
hole, and
glad
then
that you're going to sell
just
these pre-made.
yeah, yeah. Well, I actually got word from. I'm actually having them PCB way. I told you that, but
Uh-huh.
I got word from them 2 or 3 days ago that I should have pictures of the first one they made this week, and with a little bit of luck, and if I say that one is
It looks
okay,
different.
they should be available. Well, basically at New Year, so I'll start selling them in January somewhere.
Sweet.
Yeah.
For some reason, that one I just got looks different than the other ones. 100 pico, right?
Yeah, it's a PF or 0.1 UF.
Yeah, I don't have 0.1. I mean, that's not these. I have 100. It says 100 PF. That might mean that the other ones that I put on there were wrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna be okay. We can just see if it works. The values I use are the values, but if they differ a little bit, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, these
Yeah,
are
you're gonna
magnetic
need to get
tweezers.
some new type of tweezers.
Non-magnetic tweezers. Hold on, I got some. Let me just do that.
Yeah, I used to use the. I have to upload the page. Like this style, this generic style, they're like $1 a piece, and they're okay. They're okay. But if you want to do soldering a bit more often, I now use these. Oh wait, you can't see.
What would be
And
the point of having magnetic tweezers for pulling stickers out of your feet?
yeah, that's I don't know. So the bottom one you see in my webcam view is a normal metal one. Those are about $1. And this is a ceramic one. I really like those. Those are like $2 a piece, but if you want to do some soldering, I can really recommend those. Yeah, well, they're okay, but I've been testing these ceramic ones, and I really like them. So metal splinters, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. That'd be the only thing. I need more heat.
Almost done with the small stuff.
Okay. This is the first time I've ever done little tiny things like this.
I can imagine. Yeah, if you do
So,
it a few times, you'll get the hang of it. But yeah, it's
okay,
yeah.
so now we got the 10 to put over there.
Okay. Let me reposition my board. There we go.
This is a young man's game.
Yeah.
Good eyesight. Okay.
I don't have the ceramic ones linked on my website yet, Ron. I'll if I think about it, I'll do it after the stream.
Okay. See how quick that was when the soldering iron's hot enough and such? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's
Okay,
the 10.
so now we all have them tacked on one side. So basically, what I always do is I basically turn the board around. So the iron is now on the side that's not tacked on. And I just put the iron on the pad, and I flow solder to the other side of the component. And I make a little bit of this brushing motion. So it makes a nice clean bond.
There we go.
So that should basically automatically do it now. Okay. And I'm just going to continue real quick. Once you've done that one side, you basically just touch the other side again and then make that brushing motion just to reheat that joint and make sure it's okay. Because once it's the component stuck on there, it's just making sure that it's touching both pads and you're done. I think they're saying I'm going to be managing chat the whole time. Well, it's not fair. I designed the so you know.
Okay.
Okay.
We're on.
So the next part is also a SMD part if we want to put it on. Do you have the temperature sensors?
I do, yes.
Okay.
Well,
Then we need,
those are through board things, right?
yes, but then we need one resistor.
Oh, okay. And which one's that? The 4.7?
Yes.
Okay. I got it. It's right here.
Then we're done with SMD components.
Really?
Yes.
I feel like I have others over here. I got the wrong
oh,
ones.
sorry. You're right. Jesus. But then we're done with really small SMD components. You're right. So, yeah, well, you know, we're at the technique now. Basically, tin one side and then put
So
the
let's
component
scroll
in
down
there.
and we'll see where this 4.7 goes. It goes over here underneath that one. So I'm going to get so much better at this. You know, it really only takes a little bit of practice. So we're going to do one of these and then I'm going to be a pro. Somebody's calling me. I'm not answering.
Are you off from work today?
I am. It's possible that is work, but I'm not obligated to answer, so I'm not going to. It is a busy time, so I'm sure that they would love to have me there.
Really? I thought most medical stuff would be, well, yeah.
Well, we do things all bass-ackwards here. And so the end of the year, everybody's rushing to get stuff done because we have an out-of-pocket amount that everybody has to, or that everybody meets.
Yeah.
And then by the time they met it, that out-of-pocket. Do you guys do that too?
Yeah. Yeah, the own risk, basically. It's a set fee per year.
Yeah. And so once you've met that, then kind of everything else that you have done for the year is your out-of-pocket part is nothing. And so
I get it.
This last few weeks of the year, at least in surgery, right? It's everybody wants to get their knee replacement or their gallbladder out or their other things that they've been putting off, hernia repairs and all that stuff. So it's crazy busy. Okay.
I think you actually put it on neater than I did.
What? Fantastic. I don't know. Mine looks pretty bad up close, but hey.
Well, mine will work. So, okay.
It'll work. Okay. We got that on. Now what?
Yeah. So you're right. There's one SMD component left, and those are the diodes. So you see those big pads. There's one on the top here. And we basically do the same action again. And there's one here.
Now the diodes, when I was looking at them, there were some different sizes, and I got again a variety pack, which had some different sizes.
Okay.
And I got 24s and 14s. I don't have.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they should have sent the 12s, but the 14s will work just fine. That's no problem. So when you're doing those pads, keep the soldering iron on it for a little bit because those are connected to ground planes and stuff like that. So they need a lot of heat.
Okay.
Let's see where I have my diodes.
And this one. Actually, I have a smoke evacuator I'm going to put on here too. Whew. Before I choke it.
Yeah, I have a little fan for that.
All right. Got so much junk on the desk right now. Hasn't been turned off in a while. Streaming every day and just going from one project to the next.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm amazed you're keeping up. I mean, when do you sleep?
Okay. Is that too noisy? Can you guys hear that thing? If you hear that thing and it's too noisy, let me know and I'll just get rid of it.
I'm probably on your headset mic, so I'm not hearing a thing.
Okay. The other one filters out a lot of stuff, but it does. Okay. So now I've got the two sizes here. And I've got the 14s, or sorry, 24s, and then a 14.
Let me see which size I have here.
And last night I could see the numbers. Today I cannot.
I actually had to turn the lights down. So
this looks like 24. You know, it has a really good light. Is this? Yep, these are 24. Okay.
I'm going to use the old man tool.
You guys are good with the sound? Yeah. You know what, Joe? I concur. Finding all the parts is the beast. But Quindor does a good job. He's on his website. It's all there. The mistakes I made were because I went to I went to Banggood and said, "Hey, could you find these parts?" And then I ended up with a couple of wrong parts. But yes, you can hear it. Where did I get my loops? My loops, if you go to Amazon.com/ wait, is it shop/DrZzs, I think? I've got a list of stuff in I think it's my favorite things or tools, something like that. But I just got them on Amazon. They're not expensive. They're like $12, something like that. I love them.
Yeah.
I bought a pair for my dad.
Too, so.
Yeah, they're great.
Doe zo verder, Quindor. There's Dutch folk here.
What does that mean?
Go on like that, Quindor, or something like that. So if you look at my board, the top one is the SS12, or in your case 14. And these two are the SS24. But there's a caveat. These are polarized. So on the diode, there should be a little stripe.
Yes, I see it.
And on the board, there should also be a little stripe. And you basically just match those up.
Actually, you can see the stripe there. So the stripe goes...
stripe on stripe.
Stripe on stripe. Okay, yes, I see. So we got stripes here, and we got stripes there. And that's S24. And you did such a great job with the labeling on this.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of time that went into that.
Man, the instruction manual is attached to the board pretty much. Like it tells you every single spot where to put things. So well done, my friend.
Thank you. And that's also kind of the problem. I actually had a problem with that, getting these manufactured, because this is made for a human, and now a machine has to put it together. And well, it can't read the board, so it needs to know all the exact positions and all the numbers. So R1, R2, R3, and D1, D2, D3. And basically I had to do all that again to get this. Oh, wait, I actually did it the wrong way around. Jesus. I have to pay attention. Yeah?
Okay. Mistake number 1 goes to Quindor. DrZzs is in the lead.
Yeah. I think it's the most common mistake on my other boards, and that's basically where I learned that I needed to do this, is that they, well, those diodes I used on the quad and the Deca were basically too small, and a lot of people put them in reverse. It doesn't break anything, it just doesn't power up that way. So in the new revisions I did last week, or well, I've been working on the past weeks, but I updated my website last week. I made them these same diodes, because these are SMD, but these are big enough. I mean,
what does SMD mean?
Surface mount device.
Oh, okay. All right,
so
stripes to stripes.
Through-hole device, so through-hole T? Well, it's through hole and surface mount. So yeah, and these pads need a lot of heat. So keep your soldering iron on there until the solder melts. And what I do, I mostly put solder on the pad and then basically flick it up at the component when I move it off.
So it kind of goes up the side a little.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah, do the other side first, and then redo the if you want to redo the original stuff.
Okay.
Nope.
I'm having fun.
See, that's kind of the idea of this project. You'll spend an hour, especially in the first one, to solder it, but should be fun. I like doing it. Oh no, I actually made a boo-boo.
You gave us plenty of room on the pads. The pads are huge on these.
Yeah.
Okay. That actually looks pretty good.
I accidentally.
Okay. I'm gonna leave that. I heard somebody subscribe, so we're gonna do some unicorn farts. Woo! Soldering earns you geek cred. Okay, I'm gonna open this little guy. This is why Santa uses elves. They got big fingers.
I might actually have a problem later on because I got solder inside of a hole that shouldn't have gone.
Uh-oh.
Let's see if I can get it out.
Is that 2 points for me? Minus 2 for you? I'm so glad we're doing this. I've been wanting to do this with you for a long time.
Yeah, we've been talking about it.
Yeah. And so this other one, there's no polarity to it, right? So it's just...
no, that has a polarity too.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if guys can see on my camera, but I actually filled up one of the holes with solder. Let me get something.
Okay, so lines on there with lines there. Okay. I think my headlight needs more batteries. The batteries are dead in my headlight. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That was my fan falling off the desk.
Oh, damn it.
I think it vibrated itself off the desk.
Wow, okay. Okay, I fixed my whole issue.
Good.
I just poked it with something.
Poke it with a stick. All right.
Okay. So you're doing the last diode?
That's funny, that thing vibrated itself right off the desk. All right. Okay, so we got the diodes. Oops, I gotta do the other side of this one.
Yeah, so common thing when the boards don't power up, check your diodes if they're oriented correctly.
Okay. All right, there we go. Sweet. So we got capacitors, little baby capacitors. We got one little baby resistor.
Yes.
And then we've got 3 diodes.
Yes. And that is, let me check before I say too much. Yeah, there's only holes left, so that's good. So let's see in the guide what it says. Okay, do the diodes. We did that.
Oh, now we're going to get to the part.
Yeah, the level shifter.
We're going to have to.
Yeah, you're going to have to skip that one, so I'll do that.
So for you folks joining us at home, you see this level shifter I have. Maybe there you can read the numbers on it. This somehow I ended up with a 74HC595N, and it should have been the 74AHCT125N. Those are not the same.
Or the version without the A. That also works, as long as you're not running APA 102.
As long as you're not running what?
APA 102 strip. That's you have like WS2812B or WS2815, etc. And those are all fine with the cheaper level shifter, so without the A in the name. But if you want to run APA 102, I suggest getting the version with the A in the name. But it's
Okay.
it's on the hardware page.
So I ordered the wrong ones. So when we're done with everything else, we're just going to pull out one that's already done that has the correct level shifter. So that is not the right level shifter. So
Okay, so I basically
moving on.
just wrangled the level shifter on the top in place, and there's a notch and often a dot. And I'm actually trying a different brand than I normally use, so who knows? Maybe my board won't work either. But it's a good time to try things. I got like 4 different brands which supposedly make the same component, but you never know. Okay,
So the
so let me.
notch and the line go towards where the fuse sits.
Yes.
So that would be this way.
Well,
So the
I have a little bit
notch,
of a delay,
mine
but
has a notch. So the notch goes to this side. Of
yes.
course, but we can't use
Yeah.
it. Okay.
No. Okay, so let me just
Ooh,
solder this
extra
up.
pins, pin headers, pin headers. Let me get some of those. Now I didn't buy the extra colored ones of these because I've got like bushels of these leftovers from buying D1 minis and such. So
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I use the different colors because one is for setting the voltage, and if you don't, it, well, fries everything. But yeah, you can do it with just black. That's fine.
well, so with one of the problems when somebody says on this level shifter is it's got one too many pins.
Yeah, and the internal pinout is all different. I checked
So it's
the
not
data
gonna.
sheet. That's not gonna work.
Yeah. So I will likely never find a use for these. We'll see. Okay.
Let me just.
So what you do,
retouch.
you stick it through. Do you clip the ends off, or do you just solder them?
What ends?
Well, what I guess these would stick through quite a ways.
Well,
wouldn't they?
what's the next part we need to do? Oh, we need to do those. Okay. No, actually, those need to stick up. So I think this is okay.
So now
No.
we're flipping to the other side of the board. We got the level shifter there, which we're going to skip, and now we're going to put in a bunch of these pins.
Yeah, let
Okay,
me
so
get
we got
my pin
5
headers.
at the top.
Pin header.
So
Oh,
we're
they're in
gonna
the. No, they're not. In
5 there. And we want these to stick out this way.
yeah, so basically like this.
Scoot your board south a little bit there.
Oh, sorry.
And then we can, there you go. Okay, good. Thank
So
you.
the long part sticks out on top.
Okay, so now I'm going to flip this over. Ah, it fell out. Flip it over. Pin it down. Now this I can do.
Yeah, I have a little trick for that. You see this IKEA. Oh, IKEA cork stuff. What I
Yeah, I
basically
noticed.
do is I take the board and I put it. Oh, damn it! It's hard to do on camera. Let me do it on the main camera. So I have my board, and I basically just put this there, and then I can apply pressure, and I can just turn it around,
That's genius.
and then
That's
it's
genius.
always in place.
So some people will use tack, right? Blue tack or something.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it too. And I basically just verify that it's not too crooked. Yeah, and just solder those pins.
Okay. That part. And then we're going to do 3 of them over here with the 12 volt, 5 volt right
Yeah.
there. All right, I heard another subscriber. Thank you very much, Tony. We're gonna do this one for you. Woohoo!
It's funny, I hear you say all those things, and I normally see you do those things, but now I don't. I just hear you say it and nothing happens.
When I don't wear these headphones, I don't usually get to hear
The effects and
output.
everything?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I don't get to hear it.
It's going to take some getting used to.
I like it, but I don't usually get to hear it. I don't want it to play twice. That's usually why I don't do it. So, ooh,
Yeah,
that was
okay.
way crooked. Look how crooked that is. Good gravy. All right, so what we're going to do is heat that up, and we're going to just kind of bend those the other way.
Yeah, that's the easy thing. One of the tips I can give you is if you're doing pin headers and you're not crooked or not, just solder one pin, and then you can do the rest. Or if you need to bend it or something.
We got that one, and now we're going to do 5 here, and then 3 there again. Okay. This is an extra long one. I wonder where that one came from. Must have been a different kind of board.
Extra long
So
one?
Here we go. Well, instead of having, like, because they typically have 8 when they're made, when they come with a D1 mini kit.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But this one's got 9.
Maybe with a D1 Mini 32?
Oh, it could have been. Okay, go in there.
Okay, that should do it. Hey, Frank's here.
Hey, Frank.
Soldering like a pro today. Yeah, we're doing
That's right.
dual continent soldering. And I'm like all out of sync, but that's okay. Okay, I think that's going to work on my end. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay. The real trick will be how long does it take me to do a second one too, right?
Yeah, well.
Because then it would be a lot faster, and that makes it a little more worth it. Okay, so there's that part, and then I got one more.
Second pin doesn't look good for me. Never mind. Okay. Thanks, Will. Will's paying keen attention.
Will is a star. Will is superstar moderator. Thank you.
Oh,
Will.
I actually sent Frank some boards because he's in the Netherlands, so I could send him a little kit. We could have done soldering.
Oh, it's not too late. Come on, get the soldering iron out, Frank. Let's do it.
Can you do?
We got room on the screen.
Discords?
We got room on the screen. We got screen real estate left. We could spend.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's maybe, is there anybody out there that's doing this along with us? I know a lot of times when we do these streams, people will be like following along and know, doing stuff in their own home assistant or whatever.
Google Hangout soldering time. Oh, you have the OG and the quads. Well, that's nice. Cool. Why do you look like shit, Frank? Come on. And we just need to see the soldering, so you know.
That's right. What was that? Sticking there. Yikes. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So we got, put it the right orientation, and we got those up there. We got those 3 over here. We got those 5 down there and those 3 there. Okay.
Yeah, that's looking about the same. Next. Okay. So next is the terminals. Yep. Let me get mine back here.
Like that.
Okay. I have this. Let me see if I can show them. I have this giant box of terminals.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's like I ran out of terminals once, and I'm like,
never again.
So what I usually do is a black one for the input, if you have different colors, I don't know, and then a blue one for the output, because it's digital LED, and I use green for analog LED output. But it's just a little color scheme I use myself. So
I have green and blue just because that's what
okay.
that's how they came.
Yeah, that's
The
good.
the four.
Oh, okay. You can use the green for the input.
Yeah, my green, my ones that are 4 in a row are green, and my other ones are blue.
Ah, okay.
2 are blue,
Well,
so that's what it's gonna be.
wow.
That's what it's gonna
That's
be.
okay. Oh, you're already soldering them. I'm
I'm
getting
going
behind.
to town, man. I gotta catch up. You're
Well,
leaving me in
no,
the
I'm
dust.
behind. So
Yeah.
make sure to apply enough heat to these terminals again, because they're again connected to ground planes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I did
So,
notice that the ground ones, it doesn't melt as fast, right? It takes a
yeah,
little
just
bit more.
I actually keep it on there like for a few seconds until I know it makes a nice little blob, and then it's fine.
Nice pool around there.
Yeah. Don't be afraid, especially on these components, to just keep the iron on there. There's nothing active in it. It won't melt. So
Okay. There's that. Beautiful.
yeah, this ground terminal really doesn't want to get soldered. You just keep the iron on there, and you see the solder creeping in, and now it formed around the pin, and then you know it's done.
Perfect.
Okay.
And then we're gonna do
What's
our
next?
female pin.
Yes, but there
catchers here.
is a little trick for that.
Okay.
So if we turn this back around and I take a new D1 Mini.
I haven't soldered my headers on the D1 Mini yet.
No, that's good. That's good. Because what we're going to do, we're going to unpack the D1 Mini, and we're actually going to use a lot that's in the packet. So we have the D1 Mini, and this is the top side, and with the board oriented like this is how it'll go in the end. And basically, we're going to build a little stack. So,
oh, I see. I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna take this, right? You're gonna put it on
I
there.
put the pin headers in, and then I immediately put the female on that.
Yes. Okay. And then everything lines up, and you don't have to worry about it getting all wonkalated.
Exactly, because then you can just put that little stack like that in the board, and since the output terminal's already there. Let me get that on camera. There we go. It basically automatically lines up, and then you just need to line up the D1 Mini that it falls onto the pins. There we go. Oh, I moved it off the screen again. I'm soldering at 365 right now, and I'm using solder with wLED.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so now we just solder the top of the D1 Mini.
I wonder if my screw terminals look. I mean, it seems like it'll be fine, but the screw terminals are a little tall. Is that is your screw terminals? Are your screw terminals touching the D1 Mini?
No, they shouldn't be. Let me check.
I wonder if I just got some that are
Did
too
you
big.
get different components again?
Well, these I already had, so I didn't buy any new ones.
Oh, okay.
So yes, they're very likely different. So
Let
here's
me
another. We're learning a lot of lessons here. Don't deviate from the recipe.
So with the terminals I have, it's close, but they're not touching.
Okay. Well, that might be all right. That might be about the same. Okay, so now we're just going to solder the D1 Mini.
Yeah.
The headers on the D1 Mini. Done this a few dozen times.
Yeah.
Turn that fan back on. Damn, sorry, I'm just bubbling up.
Bubbling up?
Well, the tip just keeps accumulating solder.
Yeah, you have
I'm trying to use the L. I'm trying to say solder. It's very hard.
Solder, yes. Well, I guess it's solder.
I'm trying to say solder. Solder.
I'm always
the lazy way.
I'm the soldering guy. If it keeps bulging up and it doesn't want to stick to the pins, if you have extra flux, you could use that. But
I don't.
Okay. There's these little pens you can buy. It's not like premium stuff, but it's cheap to buy one of those pens and it works okay.
Is that the pins that have like that suck up the?
No, that's what I used earlier.
You mean a pin of flux?
Yes.
I don't know where. I'm trying to remember when I learned how to solder, like when we were using flux and stuff. I don't know what. Maybe it was metal shop class in high school or something.
It could be.
Mm.
I don't know. We went to very different schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I told him too, Frank. His tip is actually a bit too small.
Hey now. Easy.
So how many people have told you that, huh? No.
Yeah. Nobody ever.
Yeah, exactly. It's like soldering on large scale. Okay. D7 Quindor? What was that about, Will? Yeah, let's keep it PG-13, yeah. Otherwise, Dr. Z is going to get demonetized.
That's right. Okay. So now once you do that part, you can just flip it over and do the bottom part, right?
Exactly.
Yay.
So that's why we got the hard parts out of the way first.
I keep, every time I do something like this, I know that my tip should be, I see people do it when they have those bit more of an iron tip, a flat tip. Mm-hmm. And I think, okay, I'll change the tip. And then, of course, the next time I heat up the soldering iron and it's hot before I remember, oh, yeah, I wanted to change the tip.
Yeah.
So I never changed the tip. At this point, though, honestly, I don't know if I could find the other tips.
Oh,
I have to just buy a new. I don't know where they are now.
I actually had to change my tip before we went live, so I had to search my whole lab.
I think that might be the other problem that I'm not really having much problems. This is all going to work fine, but I think my tip is starting to get just too, I don't know, do they degrade? Do they just get too pocked up with,
a little bit. If they're not smooth anymore, I'd say replace it.
Yeah, it's not smooth at all. It looks like, it looks like a volcanic rock or something. Sound effects, they make it go better too.
Definitely.
Okay. Bingo. Dunsky.
Oh, I'm still doing some of them. I was reading chat.
All right, maybe I'll cover chat for about 5 seconds.
Sure.
Get a new open source iron, TS100. Oh, what's that?
Yeah, TS100 is nice. It's not. It's. I have a good soldering station, so I use that one. But if you're starting out and you don't solder that often, TS100 can be very nice.
Look at that tip. That thing is nasty. I guess you can't see it because it's too... Look at that thing. Okay.
So, let's see.
Santa, are you watching? Dr. Z's needs a new soldering iron tip.
Well, we're getting there.
Okay.
Next is the fuse holder. Where did I put that stuff?
Fuse holder?
That's one of the parts people have a hard time getting hold.
Yeah, I concur. Yeah, I do. I did find some though. I think I just used your links. So you've done a lot of the hard part as far as sourcing all these things. So
yeah. Well, yeah, and making it all fit.
Making it all fit. How long have you been working on these? I mean, this digital Uno board. How long did it take you?
I think actually this is version 2. I never released version 1 because I was kind of a failure. And version 2 had more features, like I added the 5 volt and 12 volt. I added the fuse and reverse polarity protection. The first board didn't have all that. It did have a level shifter and stuff like that. But I think all in all, including writing the pages and stuff like that, 5-6 months on and off.
Plus, writing the pages had to be enormously time consuming because you did a very thorough job.
Yes, because QuindLED.info doesn't just have like guides for this. It also has lots of stuff about LED strip and LED strip cooling, and I have wiring guides per board for hooking up like a small strip or a longer strip, and then you have to do the programming guides and the soldering guides and text articles and videos, and there's a lot of work that went into it.
And I got a bunch of fuses. These little holders came with a 10 amp, very low profile.
Yeah, basically this fuse holder, and that's one of the reasons I picked it. It's rated for about 30 amps, and the board is rated for 15 amps if you use the 1 OZ copper, and about 25 amps if you use 2 OZ copper. That's what you select during ordering of the board. And this fuse holder will basically take any style car fuse. So if you have one of the small ones, the medium ones, or the large one, it should all fit. So
the TS100 can run off a drill battery in the field for portable jobs. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
I have to check that out. Cool. PTC fuses on my boards.
PTC
what soldering iron station would you recommend for someone starting out? Do you have recommendations? I'm just reading chat.
I have some stuff on QuindLED tools and equipment page, basically. But I use an UI, which is a 70 watt station, but like a TS100 for starting out is a very nice item. And if you then are like, okay, I always solder in this spot, and I'd like something with a little bit more power and stuff like that, you can always get a soldering station. But getting a TS100 is actually a pretty good tip. Those are pretty nice.
And then I think I'm going to have to upgrade. I buy the cheapest one I can find. I honestly think my soldering iron cost $11.
Oh, is it even temperature regulated, or?
It is. It's got a little dial on it.
That's it. Okay. Yeah. Well,
dial on it.
Then the TS100 would be a pretty good upgrade.
Massive upgrade. Yeah. So Ron says, "What's the cost of one of these boards again?" I think you just components, buying it all together. What did you put the price at?
It depends what you put on it. If you make it 5 volt only, don't need a temperature sensor, and use an ESP8266, it's like $8-9, something like that. And then if you add a temperature sensor, that's like $50. And if you then want it 5 volt and 12 volt compatible, that adds like $1.50-$2. And if you then say like, okay, I want ESP32 instead of an ESP8266, that adds another $6, I think. So it's very modular. If you're not going to do 12 volt, just run 400 or 500 LEDs and don't need to read temperature, which wLED can't really at this time without a hack. It's about $9, $9 or $10, something like that.
Wow. I gotta put this on my Christmas list.
Yeah, Blade, are you using the PTC fuses on this board, or you designed yourself? Because I looked into PTC fuses, but it needs to be able to fuse like 15 to 20 amps, and that's going to be a bit hard in some components. So
custom firmware for the
Yeah, you can use custom firmware on a TS100. Yeah.
Wow.
I designed myself. Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
next step
is large capacitors. We're almost done.
And then again, we so the capacitors somehow, I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention or if I lost them, but in my box of capacitors, I have 1500 microfarad capacitors, but they're only 3.6 volts. And I do have the voltage regulator on this, or I have a voltage regulator I could put on this. I don't have to use it. No. So should I use a 470?
3.6 or 6.3?
6.3, I'm sorry. I'm saying
okay,
backwards.
Yeah. So
I either have my options are 470 microfarad 16 volt or 1500 microfarad, 3.6 volt.
6.3.
Thank you.
Okay, well, use both.
Okay, so for the big one?
For the big one, you can use the 6.3, and then for the small one, use the 16 volt.
I do have 470 that are 3.6 volt as well, though, I think.
Are you going to keep saying 3.6?
Did I say 3.6 again?
Because 3.6 volts, they would explode.
Okay.
But 6.3 volts is fine if you're doing a 12 volt or 5 volt only board. See, now you're getting me confused. So let's do a 5 volt only.
270. I have 270. Okay,
That's
let's
fine.
do.
That's fine.
Let's do the 5 volt only.
Yeah.
So here's a 1500, 6.3.
Yes.
Volt.
Yes.
Okay.
Now pay attention because these are polarized also.
Okay.
And you basically just stick them through there.
Plus is the colored side.
Plus is the longer pin. And if you don't have that, the colored side is mostly the minus.
Colored minus.
Yeah, basically the red stripe corresponds with the white on the board.
Okay, so you got white on the board, you got red on the capacitor.
Yeah.
That's how it goes in.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you might have a different footprint there. I'm not sure.
It's good enough. It'll fit.
If you can get it in there, that's fine. There's a lots of innuendo talk.
Golly, I tell you what. I'm gonna be getting I'm gonna kind of bend that so it stays. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, the Aouja brand, Aouja, whatever. I have one station, but they're okay, Rob. But if you don't use it, there's actually, it's a Chinese brand, but it's actually pretty good. I like it. I forget
Somebody
to look
just
in the camera.
subscribed again. It's time for the beach song. I love this song. Thank you, Timo. Okay. Alrighty. That one there. And then the other one, I do have the correct one, which is a 270 16 volt. Good enough?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
And then again, it doesn't have longer legs. The legs are about the same size, but it does have a painted side on the cap. And so we're going painted side on the cap with basically painted or white on the board.
Yes, correct. And it should also both be in the same orientation.
Ooh, the footprint on this is way off.
You might need to bend it a little bit. I'm just snipping off my ends.
Got it.
And no, this is going against the rules because you're going to break the solder joint and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, is that right? Once you're not supposed to clip them off after you solder it?
Yeah, basically if it's a cold joint and if you snip it, it can create a crack. I sometimes reflow it a little bit just to make sure that didn't happen, but I've never had a problem with it.
I know one of these capacitors, the big one, right, is to manage the power input to the LEDs when you first flip them on, so that you don't. Yeah. Because I've seen mine, without, if you run this just straight off of a D1 Mini or Node MCU and you flip them on, sometimes they'll go bright real quick, and that's, I'm sure, bad for them.
Yeah, basically, if you have a power supply which outputs a too high voltage when there's no load on it, if it outputs above 5.6 to 5.8, something like that, it might actually just fry the first LED, and then then it's dead. So what the capacitor does, it basically says all that power is mine, and then the power supply has a load on it, and mostly it stabilizes the voltage under load, and then you saved your LED. So basically, it's the inrush current of death.
The inrush current of death. That's
Yes.
That's exactly what I've heard before.
Yes.
Okay, now the next part, which we're not going to do on this board because we've determined we're going to make this a 5-volt only board. All right, the Duck subscribed. Thank you, Duck. We're back to you. Oh, we're Where Squirrel for you.
Yeah, so at this stage, we're basically done. There's 2 optional components. So there's a DC-DC converter you can put over here in this spot, and that makes it that if you set the jumper to 12 volt, basically the power goes through that DC-DC converter and gets turned into 5 volt for on the board, but 12 volt still keeps going through the board. So you can run 12 volt LED strip. And another optional component, and we can put that on there, is a I'm going to change this footprint in the future, but that's a temperature sensor. And I need to get mine. And
so tell me the temperature sensor. Do you have? I know that we made a special, or I say we, like I had anything to do with it, but we have a wLED option that is Quindor board arranged so that we're using the right pins and stuff. Does
I talked to Air Cookie, and there's things he did. First off, he made a ESP32 version which uses LED pin 16, because if there's an ESP32 on the board, that's basically mapped to GPIO2. And for the ESP8266, you can just use the regular version.
Okay. And then has he included anything with temperature sensor? Because I would love to put temperature sensors on these, but
yeah, not right now. But I made an issue, and he looked into it and was like, "Yeah, okay, we need to do this." So it's on his list, but no clue when he's going to get around to that.
Okay. But anyways, you've got it marked there real easy, and this would just
Mark, never got the Dallas to work. Solar parts too close. Yeah, I know. This footprint was kind of iffy.
They are pretty close.
I actually replaced the footprint on the quad and the deck already, and that makes soldering it a lot easier. What I do, I basically put it through the board, and then I bend the pins like this. And that makes, well, soldering at least possible for me. Hey, DrZzs has a really thin tip, so...
Hey, I thought we weren't going to talk about that anymore. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to do this just for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, but just apply a tiny amount of solder, because otherwise it's indeed going to cross the pads.
Gee, that is tiny.
Yeah. Okay. Just a very tiny amount of solder. Can you put a connector and place the Dallas temperature sensor further from the board? Yeah, I guess you could do that, but again, these pins or these pads are really small, so that's going to be a challenge. Otherwise, you could just use one of the Q1 to 4 ports that are on there and put a Dallas sensor on there, because there's 4 GPIOs that are broken out, and 5 volt, 3.3 volt, and ground on both sides. So you can use that to run extra sensor switches and stuff like that.
Okay, I'm feeling super proud of that soldering job right there.
Yeah, that looks good.
I think I got it, and I don't think I messed it up.
Yeah, looks good.
Now I need to pinch that off there. I just got a new pair of pinchers.
Yeah, so these are the only one I find with my magnifying glass, because it's just too tiny.
I have one like that.
Okay. Yeah, these magnifying glasses, they're actually pretty nice, because there's a little light in there, and it has a large one, and the small one, which is really up close, works pretty good. I think I'll have to put that on my equipment page too.
Yeah, good idea. That is one of the things that I think for anybody who's new to soldering or is scared a little bit of soldering, man, magnification is your friend. Use a lot of it. It's impossible really without it. at this level.
He
Okay, that
started.
looks pretty good. I don't think I crossed the solder pads at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So that's basically it. Soldering done. We're 85
Sweet.
minutes in. So yeah, first time, an hour, you should be able to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Now we're gonna do the baking. We're gonna do the baking show trick, and we're gonna say, "Oh, we're gonna put this one in the oven because I don't actually have a logic level shifter down there because I bought the wrong ones."
You
So
just
no
just
logic
use
level
this
shifter
one,
there, but we're
this
just gonna
this
go.
D1 Mini, so you can.
Whoop. Hey, look at that! There it is.
Oh, you did an excellent job there.
Look how good that is. And my capacitor grew to the correct size. Oh, and then we had these jumpers, right? And I have a whole bunch of those little jumpers. So explain these jumpers real quick to us.
Yes. So at the front, there's a 5-volt and 12-volt selection. We didn't add the DC-DC converter, so you basically always have to set it to this side to 5-volt. And then on the side of the board, there is GPIO 2 and 3 you can select. And it depends on which software you're running, which GPIO pin you should select. But for wLED with an ESP8266 or with an ESP32 on there, you have to set it to 2, basically. Yeah, just like the dock is showing.
And then show me on this. Okay, so I've got it set to 12 volts or 5 volts. When we have the jumper here, 12 volt over here, 5 volt over here. Correct. 12 volt to the left, 5 volt to the right.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me fetch my jumpers real quick.
Yeah, I should have known right away when I pulled out the capacitors that there was a discrepancy between this one and mine. So not only is my tip too pointy, but my capacitors are half the size they need to be.
Yeah, but that'll still work. I mean, the sizes I mentioned is what I've tested, and I've tested a lot of things, and this worked well.
Yeah.
Capacitors are a bit of a magic thing. If you get a little bit different value, most of the time it will still work, especially the big ones. So yeah.
And I remember reading on like an Adafruit LED tutorial page a long time back, and they were recommending like 1,000. And you're saying this is a 1,500, right? So
yeah, well, that's basically at least 1,000. That's basically what it gets down to. Because
this means I won't have the same endurance, Will. What do you? That is one big capacitor, isn't it? Okay, I'm gonna put this.
But basically, it needs to limit that inrush current. So if it's 1,000 or more, it'll do that.
Okay, so now I'm gonna put this jumper on that 5 volt there.
Yeah, I put it
another
like
jumper on the 2 volt over
so
here.
to the right. And that is set to 5 volt. It's also on the back of the board if you ever want to check. And then
on the bottom too.
Yeah, I put it everywhere. There's a lot of time that went just into the silk screen.
For sure.
And then we have the jumper here, and we set that to 2, and that's not on the bottom. I didn't have space. Oh well, but you can see it from the top easily.
It's very easy to see. The 12 and 5 is a little hard to see because of the capacitor, but this one's pretty easy, so no problem there. No problem there. And there you go. And this will do a lot of things for your LED control. I think there's you could go through quickly with us, but the logic level shifter, capacitors, all those things are great.
Yeah, so if we go to the Dig Uno page, you can pull it up real quick maybe. Go back to the main website page. I have a delay, so I can't see.
There it is.
And then go click on the Dig Uno itself, so nothing behind it. And you should see the board and then some listed features. So basically, no.
This one.
Yeah, I think so, but I can't see. Hold on.
There we go.
Yeah, that one. Yes. So features, basically, you can choose between a D1 Mini ESP8266 or an ESP32. Currently, it doesn't really matter because if you're running up to 500 LEDs, an ESP8266 is fine. And even when the temperature sensor becomes available and stuff like that, it won't make a difference between running an ESP8266 or 32 right now. A little secret hint, this board is called a DIG Uno, and that's because it's suitable for WS2812 and 2815. But there are two outputs on here because APA 102, which is also compatible, uses two outputs which go through the level shifter. But if you're using WS2812B or 15 or whatever, you can actually run two individual strips because you have two outputs. So it's called an Uno, but it could have been called a Duo in that regard. But since wLED, for instance, doesn't have support for that right now, I don't really advertise that. Maybe in the future, and then an ESP32 with multiple outputs will become useful.
Cool.
Hope
I
that
didn't
makes
know
sense.
that was a thing.
Yes.
Fantastic. That's great.
Then it has a
awesome.
yeah, exactly. Level shifter going from 3.3 to 5 volts. So, well, you did a really great test of that on the live stream, testing how far a data signal will go with 3.3 volts or with 5 volts. And the difference was like, I don't know, what was it? Like 20 centimeters to
once
8
we boosted
meters?
it to when we boosted it to 5 volts, you could go 40 meters, and 40 meters, but without it, it's like 2 feet.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So
like nothing.
this board has a level shifter on it, so you can always get to your pixels without the signal degrading too much. And if you do it directly, you basically never know.
Question in the chat from Joe.
Oh,
Do we have 3D printed cases? Do you have some cases
yes,
designed?
there are some cases people. I haven't made one myself, but there are some designs on Thingiverse. So if you look for QuindLED, you should be able to find it.
I'm going to do that while you keep going.
Sure. So one of the components we didn't. It's a bit of an expensive component because it's like $1.50, $2. But it's really tiny, and that enables you to run 5 volt or 12 volt strip. So with the same board, you can run 12 volt strip. Let's see here. Oh yeah, there's reverse polarity input and output protection. So if you hook up your power wires the wrong way around, or the wires going to your LEDs the wrong way around, if you hook up your power wires wrong, basically the fuse will blow, and if you hook up your LED wires wrong, it'll just the LEDs won't turn on, but nothing will break. So that helps you. It helps me during like 3 a.m. sessions, and you're like, okay, I'm putting in these wires, and and then you turn it on and smoke appears. That's why that feature is there.
I have done that. I have reverse connected D1 Mini and LEDs and destroyed them both.
Yes.
And I actually was going to say, since you mentioned the voltage regulator as being one of the more expensive parts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I actually, so I've looked for a lot of ways to take 12 volt LEDs and to make it simple to only have one power supply and regulate that down to 5 volts so you can run your control board, your D1 Mini or Node MC or whatever. And these little voltage regulators that you specify are, I haven't tried them yet in that exact thing, but I'm in that exact situation, but that's exactly what you're doing. Yep. I haven't tried it without this, but these were really cheap compared to the other things that I've been using. Like I've used some of these that cost like $7 a piece.
What? No. Oh,
they're these big like 3 amp, powerhouse things, and they don't need to be. This is all you need right here.
Yeah. So this is actually because I used different ones on the quad and the Deca. And the quad one is like 40-50 cents, but and that would have been perfectly suitable, but it's just too big. And the Deca one is a bit higher one, so that's a bit bigger, but it's only $1 or something like that. But that one needed to take a higher voltage, and this one it needed to be really tiny. But it'll run a ESP8266 or an ESP32 without a problem. Yeah. And
that's all you need. For what I've been looking for, that was what I needed. So, I bought a ton of these because that's
they're nice, and they're the same footprint as linear regulators. Probably someone in the chat will mention that. Why aren't you using a linear regulator? The problem is, if you're going from 12 volt down to 5 volt, you basically need to burn off 7 volts. And if the ESP, for instance, uses 300 milliamps, you need to burn off 7 times 0.3, which is 2.1 or something like that from head. And every 1 in that regard raises the temperature 65 degrees of a linear converter. So if you're raising 2.1, you're already at like 140 degrees, and then you need to add ambient temperature to that. So now you're at 160, 170 degrees. So I tried this design because the footprint is the same with linear regulators, because those are like 10 cents a piece. But the drop in voltage is too high, so there's too much heat, and that's why we're using a switching regulator instead of a linear regulator. Just for people who know what I'm talking about. I
Which is
know.
not me.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, a
But I
switching
appreciate that you
regulator.
put the thought into it and you figured that out before I melted something.
Yes. So a switching regulator, it's switching, and a linear regulator just burns it off in heat. And normally you can use those, but the input voltage is just too high, so you need to burn off too much. And that's why we're using a switching.
It makes sense when you say it. I just have never heard about it before, so I
Okay.
appreciate that you
Yeah.
did that. So we
Yes,
found
correct,
two
100%.
Dig Uno cases. We found 2 Dig Uno cases in the Thingiverse
Oh, cool.
there. I don't know why Thingiverse is lagging so bad this morning. It could be all of our stream inception that we've been doing.
Yeah, might be.
This one looks good, but I guess somebody said they had a little trouble with getting it to close together, and that probably has to do with what they used for their settings and how fine their printer was doing versus yours or something like that. So anyways, it's a box, it's square. Design something up if it doesn't work for you.
The design is pretty square. The only thing you need to take into account is that the D1 Mini basically sticks out.
Oh, it does stick out that end, doesn't it?
Yeah, so you need to take that into your design. But other than that, it's just a box.
Yeah. Fits in a soap dish, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
So continuing on with the features a little bit. So we had the reverse input and output. Coupled to that is basically the fuse, and that works together with the input and output protection. So if you blow the input or output detection, will basically blow the fuse, and the fuse will also blow if the power consumption becomes too high because there's a short somewhere. So you basically have to calculate how much amperage your LEDs are going to use, or how much amperage you're going to set in wLED. And then if it rises a lot above that and you have a fuse that's below that, the fuse will blow. And once the fuse blows, all power to the board is gone. It's done. So if for some reason you accidentally create a short, or the LED strip creates a short on something, or whatever else goes wrong, the fuse will just blow. Done. No fire. Everything's safe.
What's this other capacitor for? I know this one is for the initial inrush to the LEDs. What's this one for?
They're both kind of for that. Both.
Okay.
Basically, the reason we use 2 values is basically the larger a capacitor becomes, the slower it becomes in responding. So we use a very high value, and that helps out stabilize the ESP and also the LED strip. Once you have like really rapidly changing effects, having some extra capacitance on the board helps stabilize that power delivery, basically. Okay. And it depends on the quality of your power for that, but it can help with that.
Having 2, one with a smaller value, one with a larger value, it helps to not have a delay in the changing of effects and such, because of the large capacitor would normally have a
basically, if you have like bright flashes, so really rapid brightness changes, it'll draw that closer from the board instead of having to rely on the power supply to be able to take those hits, basically.
Ron, the 3D printer, it'd be interesting to hear what anybody else has to say, but as far as I know, the king of least expensive, best quality is going to be the Ender 3. And you can make
I have an Ender 3 too.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't have one. I have one that I paid way too much money for a long time ago, but it works fine. I have the Lulzbot. I would not recommend that. I mean, for the price, for what I paid for mine, you can buy a really nice resin, large capacity printer these days. So
yeah, okay.
Pro or not, I would say Pro. Pro.
Yeah,
Pro gives you what?
Ender Pro is nice. Yes.
Yeah, it gives you a better power supply. And what are the other things they add with the Pro?
Mainly better power supply, better cabling, I believe, and some options included. I don't have the Pro myself, so I don't
You don't.
really know.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and an Ender 3 Pro less than $200 is and it's amazing how well they print for that price. So awesome.
I'm trying
And then
to
let's
read
see
up in
here.
chat here a bit.
Yeah,
Rutger,
because they had some good
your
questions.
question is a bit too big to go into right now. Maybe ask it on Discord and I can respond later.
Okay.
Dig Uno to drive LEDs and the cabinet lights need to have 3 separate switch inputs. You can, but then you'll have to write the software yourself. So the board can do a lot more than W. So there's 4 GPIOs, for instance. But right now, wLED is more limited in that regard. If you'd run ESP Home, you could do all those things.
Yeah. So are you answering Rutger's question about he wants to use motion sensors
and Ray Rollstone,
and different LEDs. Yeah. In that case, I would. That my go-to, and that would be ESP Home, just like you said. And you wouldn't have all of the options and all the effects and the user interface and stuff of wLED. But it sounds like that's not what you're looking for. It sounds like what you're looking for is something
ESP
happens and some lights come on under there.
Yeah, but ESP Home can still do digital LEDs and runs on the just fine. So you can run ESP Home just for pretty effects and easy control and app and an app on your phone and stuff like that. wLED. So
all righty, let's open up the that was successful. I mean, we didn't turn it on, but I can imagine it's not going to explode. It doesn't.
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it works. There's like hundreds of people who've built them already. So.
So can you use dry contacts with QuinLED? There's no relay.
What's a dry contact?
I think he's talking about a relay, like a different power supply. I think what you're referring to, FV, is when you have, what I understand of dry contact is if you have a relay like a Sonoff and the power comes in and the relay switches something other than the power that's coming in, right? So that's what we use for like a garage door.
Yeah. Well, actually,
Will says dry contacts is battery. Okay.
I wouldn't use a battery on this. This board is not optimized for battery usage. Neither is wLED. You can, of course, if you have a 5-volt power bank, you can run some 5-volt LEDs through the board, but it's not optimized for power usage. So
I've had a lot of people ask about that. Can I do get a Node MCU and get LEDs and run it off a battery? And the answer is yes, but the battery's probably not going to last a long time. You might get a few hours if you've got a good sized battery pack.
Yeah.
And of course, Will is going to hook it up to his 12-volt car battery. That'll work.
Well, that'll work.
It'll last a while.
Yeah.
It'll only cost $80.
What I've had some people in the Discord do is you see the 5-volt and the 12-volt pins. I discussed with them how those are basically laid out on the board. And they've connected a 5-volt and a different 12-volt power supply. And the 5-volt feeds the board. And then when wLED turns on, it flips a relay and then turns on the 12-volt power supply for the LEDs. And you can do stuff like that. The board wasn't intentionally designed for that, but it can be used for that. So it's a bit more complex situation there.
Diesel guy, we're glad you're here, brother, but yep, we're about to end.
Yeah.
Watch the max current draw off the power bank. You could lead to damage your battery. That's for sure too.
Yep, well, the power bank will limit that. That's okay. But like 2 amps, you can mostly draw, and you can run some LEDs from that. That's no. But yeah.
I'm gonna pimp out my bug. I've been thinking about, you look at, like I was looking at the Cybertruck, like everybody, right?
Yeah.
And the way they did the headlights, it wasn't. And I've thought about this. Why do we have headlights that are like that? 2 big bulbs. Well, that's because that's historically the way we had to do it to get them to be bright enough, and that's how we spread them out. But now we can do, like the Cybertruck has a strip of LEDs that look like they're just right at the hood. And so I'm thinking about my bug, and I'm thinking, how cool would it be to have a strip of LEDs that runs around the hood of the bug and makes it look like a smiley face? when you're driving down the road, you know? That
Well,
would be awesome.
you'll have to add some lenses to actually make it for light on the road, but
I'll still have headlights, but I'll just do it
oh,
for
okay, then
decoration.
you can do that. If I'm not sure it's allowed, but you can do that.
That's true. It might not be allowed. But when they pull me
Yeah.
over, they'll go, "That is so cool." And here's your
I
ticket.
remember in the 90s, people in Holland living with like their house and rave music, they'd make cold cathodes because we didn't have LEDs under their cars, like blue
Oh,
and
yeah.
green, and yeah, that quickly didn't become a thing because police was like, no, you can't do
You can't
that.
do that. I wonder, can you not do that? Just don't use red and blue. That's right. Can you not do that anymore in the US? Do you guys know? What did we call that? There was a name for that. When you had LEDs under your car. I thought it looked cool. I never did it. But
yeah, there's a law. So it's very clear in the Netherlands. You do it, it's like you pay $500 or something like that, and have to remove them. So yeah,
you cannot do that in Holland.
No.
What was that? There was I think it was an Olympics commercial. Anyways, it's about with lights and music in the car. Anyway, forget it.
Oh,
just
don't know.
forget it. It was fun.
Yeah,
because
so
it
we're
had
not
something to do
going
with,
into programming
Holland
right
and LEDs and stuff.
Sorry.
Sure, you can X out whatever you want. Okay.
So we're not going into programming right now because we both did videos on how to basically just hooking it up to a PC, running ESP home flashers, flashing the firmware on there, plugging it back in the board, and that's it. So
you cannot go wrong with wLED
No.
ground effects. Thank you. That's right. Yeah, you can't go wrong with wLED. It is super simple. Quindor, like you said, we both have videos on it. It's about as easy a process as you could come up with. All right, DrZzs. Let's do, where are we at? I forgot which one. We're going to do the planes again because I like it so much. Thanks for subscribing. I'm going to start the sticker giveaway.
Cool. I just want to make one last remark.
Do it.
Information about the boards, as DrZzs has been showing too, can all be found on quinled.info. I have my own Discord, but I'm also in DrZzs Discord. So if you ever have any questions, just reach out, type an @ and I'll catch it hopefully, and I'll respond. And yeah, if anyone has questions, let us know.
Quindor is amazing. He's been a wonderful help and has created an amazing device that was really, really useful, really helpful, and fun to put together.
Thank you.
That was really cool. It wasn't
And
bad
soon,
at all. I can't wait to do my next one.
if you really don't want to do the soldering yourself and getting the components, etc., directly from AliExpress will always be cheaper. But I hope within a month, so at the beginning of next year, I'll have a batch, and they're limited. I asked them for 100 of pre-soldered, and this is a kind of an experiment for me. But yeah, so I'll have pre-soldered versions available, and I'm hoping to get them around. I'm thinking $25 or $27 a piece. So that's more than the $10 this is, but that's the cost of having it done even in China. So yeah.
You're gonna sell that 100 in like a day.
It's either going to take like a year, and okay, well, tried that, or it's going to be flying by in like a few days, and we'll see if it does.
And that's great. That's what you got to do, and you're doing it the right way. You got to be conservative and cautious about these kinds of things. You can't put yourself out there and spend $5,000 making a bunch of boards when you don't know really what's going to happen. So
yeah, exactly.
But my assumption, just based on the number of people that have asked if they could buy them pre-made, is you're going to sell those in like
I think after our last stream, because I've been working on this for like 3-4 months now. I think after our last stream, I kind of decided like, okay, I need to get a batch made, and I've been working on that for months now. I mean, people mail me like, hey, you should just ask JLC PCB to build them. I know other YouTubers have shown this, like if you make a simple board with SMD components from their library and ask them to make it, sure, they can do it in like a few weeks. But this board wasn't really designed for that, to be built by machines, and it's not their components, and it takes months.
Yeah. Probably. I mean, look at how successful it becomes once you are selling pre-made boards, and then I'm sure you've thought about this already. What about a design that does the same things but is using components that they can put together for you?
Maybe,
now you're talking about a whole new design, but
and that takes
You could
months again.
make it
So,
cheaper. And it's going to
yeah.
take a while. That's not going to happen.
So
You're a
that's
one-man
why
show.
I
We got
decided
it.
to go on with this board and see where that ends, and then we'll see in the future. So yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, thanks for your help today.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. It's a good time, and I'm just happy that I got all the. Well, I don't have all the parts, but because I'm going to start using these on all mine, I might as well, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I feel so much better about having this than kind of what I have.
Even just having
the
the screw terminals to screw in the connectors instead of having them on jumper wires or whatever else. I mean, yeah.
What I was playing with the other day. Where did I put all my D1 minis? I have a whole bag of them now. I was goofing around when I was messing with these components last night or something like that. And I thought of something, and I don't think it's ever going to really work, but I thought, well, wouldn't this be fun? So you take the D1 mini like this, and you just stick this in here, right?
Yeah, I'm watching on delay. Oh, what? Does that actually space out?
It does.
Wow.
But it misses a hole. So it hits D4 and 5 volts, but it misses the ground.
But
so you would still have to do something about the ground. This is ground.
Yeah, but there's more grounds on there, isn't there?
You know what? On the D1 Mini, I don't think there is.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there is. But I was like, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And even if you didn't use it for 5 volts and ground, if you were using a D1 Mini for a different purpose, and you were using ESP Home, you were using ESP Home or something, and I didn't know that they spaced out like that. That's really
yeah.
Cool.
Well, the terminals 508 or 500, and the pins are 2.54 millimeters. It's all standard spacing. So yeah.
So anyways, I thought that was fun. I was just like, oh, that would actually make things a lot easier, because I break, if you try and solder wires directly to these, they break.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just like nothing you can do. They just, after a couple of movements, they just snap off. And jumpers are good, but jumpers, they don't always make great connections either. And so, anyways,
you're basically describing the reason I went into designing these boards.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks everybody in chat for helping out. Let's see if we can call up the kids. There's no reason for me to believe that the cube is working now, but I'm going to try it again anyways. No. Tell everyone it's time for sign off. We've got a couple extra neighbor kids today that we didn't have. We don't usually have. My wife's watching some kids because somebody.
I lose count of how many kids you have.
Oh, okay. Somebody's at the door for me, so we need to sign off. We need to pick a winner and sign off. How long can the people at the door wait? Who is it?
It's this mailman.
The mailman? Does he need me to sign something? Okay, honey, you're
more hosting. Level shifters.
No.
Sit down.
No.
Oh, so wait, I'm back in charge of the stream. Sorry, I'm on a delay regards to. Saw you walked out. Any quick questions? What's going on? We got a new host. No, this is the DrZzs show. I mean, I have my own YouTube channel. Oh, for people interested, I have intermittent technology, youtube.com/intermittech. I do videos too about these boards, but also about phone chargers and servers and ZFS and Proxmox and all kinds of stuff. If I'm taking over the channel, I can just promote myself, I guess.
Go for it. Promote it. Yeah. Look at this.
I am on delay, so. What did you get?
I have no idea what this is, but it's from China.
What if it's
we should open it.
I should?
Cool.
It might be cool. Oh, I know what it is. It's a charger. Okay. This is for the bug. This is my 120 volt to 96 volt charger. So this is going to be my onboard charger for the bug. So I'm going to stick this in the bug, and then I can just plug it into the wall and charge it at night.
How is the bug doing?
Good. I haven't touched it in a month,
Oh,
but
uh,
since right before Thanksgiving, I haven't done anything new to it. But it's getting there.
are
It's
we
getting
going
there.
to
Once we get past Christmas,
a bug stream during Christmas?
no. but I have wondered sometimes about doing a stream while I'm working on it. That might be kind of fun.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't know how I don't know how entertaining that might be. But this whole time that I've been working on this bug, it's been a year and a half now. I've got tons and tons. I've got hours of footage. So someday, hopefully starting after the new year, I'm going to start putting together some videos about it and stuff. So
Okay, cool.
I'm not driving it yet. Father Time hasn't. It's still up on jacks, but haven't started driving it. 96 volts blade. Yeah, that's for the bug. That's what the bug's driving at. 96 volts.
I just wanted to answer,
right.
yes, Einstein. If you plug in a 12-volt power supply, you also need to use 12-volt LEDs. So basically, power in is also power out. The DC-DC converter is only rated to run the components on the board at 5 volts. So voltage in is voltage out.
That's an odd voltage. Well, it's lithium iron phosphate batteries. So it's I think it's really works out to being something a little bit different than that. And the charger, it's 96 volt. The battery pack is 96 volts, but the charger's actually a little higher than that.
How many P and S is that?
Oh, of those? Well, it's 100 amp hour. So it's lithium iron phosphate batteries are only like 3.2 volts nominal instead of like the lithium batteries that we usually use in laptops are like 3.7.
Yeah.
So the nice thing about the lithium iron phosphate, a couple things. One of them is they get to 12 volts, 12 volt segments more accurately, right? Because a lot of car stuff runs on 12 volts or intervals of 12 volts if you're doing RVs and stuff. So 12, 24, 48, whatever. But the other thing about the lithium iron phosphate, and the reason that I really got those was because they don't explode.
Yeah, they're a lot safer. That's true.
Right? I'm not gonna be sitting on a bomb. So, all right, girlies, who's picking our stickers? Well, that's okay. If you can't find Dawson, we'll find him in a minute. He's got to be here somewhere.
Sure, no problem. AP05 TLE. Happy
double
to do
that
it.
golf cart. Yeah, double what a golf cart would use. That's right, Alex. It's so 96 volts. We'll see. We'll see how fast it's gonna go. It might not be super terribly fast. It's a DC motor, so it should be fine. What is that? You struck my back. Oh. Just don't add water. Nope, not gonna add water. All right. Ready, girls? Who's gonna pick a winner for us? Okay. Pick a winner right here. Hit the drum roll. Can't reach because of all this stuff. This isn't hot anymore. We're going to turn off this. So they're like, I don't want to touch your soldering iron, Dad.
No. Well, you taught them well. So.
Where is it?
Oh, it's on. There it is. Okay. I turned the soldering iron off a while ago. Boom! Kai. Kai. Kai wins. Congratulations, Kai. I need your address. I'll give you a link to put it in a Google form, or you can email it to me, or you can put it in Discord. Just make it easy for you, whatever's possible. Okay, and Holly, let's do another one. You're up, baby girl. Right there. Drum roll.
I'll edit quinled.info to have my Discord. Sorry about that.
Okay. Mark R. I'm glad that Mark R won. Mark R was very active in the chat today. So
cool.
Congratulations. And then I can put in, I think it was ! W. And that will bring up a form for the winners to put their addresses in. And that hopefully will make it easier for me to print some stickers. And then Quindor's, all of that information that we've been looking at on his website. I don't know if anybody has already pasted that in, but there it is. And Feliz Navidad. We should do it. We can't do it all in Spanish. All right, what do you guys want to say for sign off tonight, girls?
Creepy doll.
Creepy doll?
No.
What?
Yeah. No.
Gracie's been. Don't forget to close the giveaway. Thank you. That's right. Gracie's been watching some crazy horror movies or something. All right, let's do it like. I mean, it's almost Christmas Eve. I say we do it like Santa Claus.
No, we did that. Oh,
I know.
Rudolph. We said it last stream.
How do we do? No, tomorrow. How do we do it like Rudolph? I don't know what Rudolph sounds like. Okay, let's just be silly. Ready? We're just going to be silly. 1, 2, 3. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time, adios. Okay. Everybody have a great Monday.
Thanks for having me on, Z.
You bet. Okay, everybody. See you later. Bye-bye. The 12 going to be, tomorrow's stream is going to be the same time. We're going to start the same time as today, and it's just going to be freestyle. I'm just going to put on a Santa hat, and we're just going to have some fun. So,
Nice.
all right? Okay. See you, everybody.